So you had mentioned combinations. I said, what's next after Solo 1? And you said, well, maybe all comers, and Mike told us about Prima.
Yep.
Tell us about this Paola 1, which will be probably the first combination olaparib to report. Tell us what that study's about.
So that is also in all comers as well, for patients who are responding to upfront chemotherapy, have advanced disease. And the randomization is around thinking about bevacizumab as kind of a standard treatment, so using bev, but then adding olaparib to bevacizumab to try to, again, the rationale would be to try to induce HR, meaning to try to trick the cancer cell into thinking that it has underlying homologous recombination deficiency and therefore would be more sensitive to a PARP inhibitor.
And that study's anticipated probably in 2019. So I think that the biggest conclusion of Solo 1 is that placebo maintenance is bad. And we can debate whether bevacizumab is better or worse, but the reality is most patients are not BRCA, so bevacizumab is still an option on the table. But if you layer them together, where all comers bevacizumab, and then olaparib on top of that, maybe that's the next step forward, and certainly we'll know very soon as that trial's completed enrollment. Maybe we should be adding immunotherapy to PARP inhibitors, Dr. Beer. What do you think? Frontline.
Well, in fact, you know, the combinations are hot right now, and we've already talked about the anti-angiogenic combination, but the other one is IO for sure in combination with PARP inhibitors. There's a theoretic interest in that,
tell
right?
us about that.
So you have a DNA repair abnormality in many of these tumors, as we've discussed, HRD, that certainly could predispose these tumors to having a lot of neoantigen formation, which are antigens, peptides that the body doesn't normally see, so they should be good targets for T cells. And so one could argue that those tumors that are going to respond to a PARP inhibitor would also have a lot of neoantigen formation, so they would also respond to IO, anti-PD-1.
So that's
the combination.
That is such a wonderful idea in many people's minds that they're going to study 5,000 patients. And and so if you think of the you know, we have 6 checkpoint inhibitors that are approved. 4 of them are now entering phase 3 PARP inhibitor combination trials. Nivolumab, avelumab, pembrolizumab, and durvalumab. Okay. The atezolizumab, which is the other one, is in the, because it's made by the same company that makes bevacizumab. The atezo combinations predominantly are with bevacizumab. And then Tesaro has their own checkpoint inhibitor, not yet FDA approved, TSR-042. So that one, so you got nivolumab, avelumab, pembrolizumab, durvalumab, TSR-042, all 5 randomized phase 3 trials with a PARP inhibitor.
Right.
Do we have 5,000 patients on Frontline to do?
Yeah, well, I think it is a daunting task too, and I know that there are multiple now phase 3 trials, and I think it's just important for centers to really look at because the trials are all a little bit different in terms of, you know, addition of bev, mandatory, not mandatory, when patients can enter on to the trial. Initial, because sometimes that for an academic practice, sometimes we do see a lot of patients up front after surgery, but sometimes patients will be referred in after they start chemotherapy.
And that's why Athena is a maintenance alone trial of one of the 5.
Exactly, that's right, where you can put patients on
just
at the
in
completion.
Maintenance.
That's right, just at maintenance.
So I guess when I say do we have 5,000 patients, I would hope that you'd say, well, look, the NCCN guidelines says the #1 option is clinical trial. And then I would hope that people would say, well, wow, with 5,000 patients, I ought to be able to find a clinical trial for my patient.
No, I think, yes, we should. We should be able to do these trials. That's correct.
So basically, most
efforts.
states, most cities have one of these frontline, you know, PARP, IO clinical trials, or atezo, atezolizumab, bevacizumab clinical.
You know, major academic centers, they even run
all do.
two or three of these.
Exactly
things.
right.
We have 2 of them. Yeah, exactly.